Ladies and gentlemen, Game Week 13 is in the books. Couple of interesting fixtures here and there. With my kind of 3-2 game of the week, Man Utd Everton, didn't really work that way, but we might have gotten goal of the season. We had a huge big hitter, Man City versus Liverpool, to kick us off after the international break. James, how did Game Week 13 go for you?
Jack, as you can see, out of 5, out of 10, I was only able to get 4 scores right, overall, but some big predictions there, some correct some correct results there. So I'm happy with that overall. I think the big one to me was City, Liverpool just being able to get a draw there, and also Jack, Luton. Big up Luton.
That was impressive.
Big up Luton for that one, But the majority of that, I'll be honest, me getting 6 wrong, a bit of a disappointing fact that could have added a few more big results there overall.
Yeah, it's true. Look, and for me, again, got a few of the results right, and a couple of them, I'm not gonna lie, I was close to getting it, but close isn't good enough. And there were just a few that kind of caught me off guard. A lot of away teams performing very well, which I think was a little bit surprising. But guys, you can see the total at the bottom there: 5 for me, 6 for James. I'm going to scroll up here real quick to our totals table, and as you can see, that lead that was once so big, not so big anymore, only 3 points in it. James me with just a very, very slender lead at this point, 84 to 81. We're going to go a little more quick fire because I know James and I have beds to go to. But Game Week 14, James, let's take a look at the first game here. Your Arsenal, I should say, versus Wolverhampton. You've gone for 3-1, pretty convincing. I've gone for the clean sheet. What makes you think you'll put 3 past this Wolves team?
I feel like Arsenal when we're at home, we just always seem to have a goal conceded. With us, it just always seems right now we've kept a few clean sheets away from home, but at home this season, a lot of a lot of goals conceded, but winning games in top of the table, and that's what I like to see us doing. Can we get the Christmas top of the table, but can we mainly end the season top of the table, which is the big question there. I don't think that we'll have too much for Wolves on the day. Wolves are a team that can shock you because, Jack, they can really, really hurt you with the plays that they have there. But the biggest question for Wolves is that can they take the chances that they create? They always manage to create a number of chances, but they just don't manage to take them. I think that's really going to bite them. One team will take the chances the other team won't.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on that. I think the big one for me, Martin Odegaard. You know how highly I think of him, and I think he totally changes this Arsenal team. I think he's so valuable. And I think that, James, you kind of mentioned it there. If Arsenal aren't having fantastic football being played but are still winning games and are still top of the table, well, I'm really excited for when at some point it clicks here. Maybe one addition in January to kind of energize the team a little bit as well. But I think this will be relatively comfortable at home. Even though you've not been brilliant at the Emirates, I still think you'll be able to pull this one out with the clean sheet, 2-0. James, Brentford, Luton. I was going to ask you, is the Luton train going to keep on rolling, but it's going to meet an end in West London? I've gone for 2-0 again. I just think Brentford, even against Arsenal, actually showed what kind of a team that they are and how capable they are of keeping a game close and still being competitive. Luton can provide problems, but I think especially, Brentford at home, the way they play under Thomas Frank, I can just see them, somebody like a Brian Mbeumo, right, with a little bit of that X factor, being able to cut them apart and then just being strong enough and well organised enough to hold on to the win.
I think the most important thing, Jack, is the fact that where the fixtures played. It's at home. Brentford are at home, and that kind of really sways, to me, the results. Brentford against Arsenal, Jack, they're really good. And probably they looked at overall, they did enough to, probably get a draw in the game. I had 2 balls cleared off the line, and just overall were able to really kind of stop Arsenal playing overall. They're very strong at home. Does their level drop when a team like Luton come? Possibly, yes. But I like to think that they want to get back to winning ways. And Luton, a team that we've been berating over how they're not a Premier League side, they've shown that they're good enough to be in the Premier League. And also, it looks like they won't end up hitting that Derby County record of 8 or 11 points in the Premier League season. They're already on 9, so fair play to them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Burnley, Sheffield United, James. I've got to be honest with you. Even though I've got it at 2-1, I'm just trying to remind myself here. Yeah, the 3-1 loss to Bournemouth was unacceptable if you're Sheffield United, especially being the home team. That is unacceptable. Bournemouth actually looked really good. Semenyo is somebody who really stood out to me as is a potentially like an actual top player who maybe some of the bigger sides might end up looking at. But for me, Sheffield United, any hope I had has gone. I don't even know, to be honest with you, why I've given them a point. I think this will be relatively convincing for Burnley, and Sheffield United, as far as I'm going right now, might be well and truly the worst team in the league. And I'm amazed I'm saying that with Luton Town still in this league. So yeah, it probably looks a little nicer for Sheffield United than I'd like to make it, but especially with Burnley being the opposition, I just can't see them punishing them in a way that maybe a better team would. So 2-1 for me in that one.
Jack, my big thing is that it's a must win for Burnley. It's a must win. They cannot leave, that fixture without, to me, a win overall. So much pressure on Vincent Kompany, so much pressure on the team to deliver. As I mentioned, Jack, the home team, being the home team makes a big difference. And then I like to think at some point they have to break through and get their first win. They like to break through and break out of the bottom three. So I like to think Burnley can finally kind of get their Premier League season going with a win.
3 same results so far, different scores across the board though, which I like. And James, our first disagreement, I have Forest with the home victory. You've got Everton away from home after that. I want to say probably shock loss to Manchester United. Obviously that Alejandro Garnacho wonder goal, I guess, caught them off guard, and then they kind of did the damage from there. After what you saw from Everton at Goodison Park, why have you got them going to Nottingham Forest and getting the win?
Forest really good at home, and I just like to think right now, I don't think we got a full Everton there, a team that in the Manchester United game, Jack, they created a lot of chances, and Jack, if they take one, it might be a completely different story. But being away from home, I've often said it is the advantage for the home team, but mainly Everton can kind of go there with less of the fans being on their back and just giving them more of ability to kind of express themselves in a way, and Jack, they can be a bit more defensive, and then when it comes a chance to hit them on the break or score from a set piece, they can do that.
2 huge standout games this week, James, and I think this has to be one of them. Newcastle, Manchester United. We have gone for the exact same score in 3-2. Obviously, Garnacho's goal, I've mentioned it a couple of times there, very, very impressive. Apart from that, though, I cannot see this Manchester United team getting the better of Newcastle United. I really can't. I think as each week passes as well, we're going to get a fitter and fitter Newcastle United team. We saw Alexander Isak back and in and amongst the goals, and the way they tore apart Chelsea, I can just see them at home doing the exact same to this Manchester United team. Lots of goals though, James, because they do have an attacking threat somehow.
Jack,
Man United.
You said the exact same thing. Right now, I can't see Manchester United going there and finding a way to win. Possibly, could I get a point? Yeah, but because they're a formed team, you kind of give them a chance there. But Manchester United last season, they travelled poorly away from home. Newcastle absolutely flying when they have their whole team fit, and especially away at Newcastle, I feel United are going to struggle big time.
I will say though, James, it's a game I'm going to be keeping an eye on, because the most informed team in the league, if they continue to stack these wins, we're going to have to start paying attention to them here at some point. Bournemouth versus Aston Villa, another disagreement for me, 3-2. James, like I said, I was very impressed with Bournemouth. I know it was against Sheffield United, but it was away from home. Justin Kluivert looked kind of good, and that, again, I'm going to mention the name again, Semenyo looked very, very talented. I think that Bournemouth will be capable of doing something to Villa at home, but again, this Villa attack, Unai Emery and the way things are rolling there, I can just see them rolling them over. You've got a kind of a bit more of a cagey game, 1-1. What's your thinking?
So Jack, I looked at it right now. Out of the last 5 games in the Premier League, Bournemouth have 3 wins, Jack, and maybe am I looking that into that too much, thinking, maybe that's not working. In one of the wins, what was in 2016. Yeah. One of the wins was in 2016, but Jack, 4 wins out of their last 5. I like to think, Jack, as you said, they've been quite impressive this season and haven't really got their due diligence from the point of view of a result. Villa are flying differently right now, and it's hard to bet against them. And probably the easy thing is to go for them right now. But I just like to think that Bournemouth can really go out there and pull out something special and like snag a point.
There's definitely a good thought process behind that. I'm not going to lie. I still feel good about my win. But again, especially seeing how well they played, I'm more inclined to agree with you than I'd like to be. Chelsea Brighton. Again, Chelsea are a team. Pick any scoreline out of the sky, and I'll give you just as good of a chance as to pick mine or James's when we've actually thought about it. Seriously, this Chelsea team are just hard to pin down. 2-2 for me. Brighton aren't at their best. It is at Stamford Bridge. And again, this Chelsea team, a couple of steps forward and then one step back, but then sometimes two steps back. Sometimes they're right back for where they started. I'm going to say this time round, a couple of goals, but then maybe lose it a little bit. James, very concerning performance from Thiago Silva, and it will be very interesting to see what happens here with Mauricio Pochettino in the centre-back position. You've got Brighton going to West London and winning it. What's your thoughts?
Chelsea, I just don't know what I want to get from Chelsea. And at least think about it, with a team like Brighton there, you know the qualities they have there, especially with a player like Reece James suspended. Wide areas with Fati and Matoma there can really trouble Chelsea. I just see them going in there, just having that bit more quality. While I'm not sure what I'm going to get from Chelsea, so yeah, 2-1. I think I trust Brighton more than I trust Chelsea, Jack.
Liverpool, Fulham. Liverpool at home against the lesser team. 2 or 3 goals from somebody like Mo Salah. I think, some of the other attacking players can pile on here. Fulham, pretty impressive this evening against that Wolverhampton team, being able to put 3 goals through. Last minute, obviously, a winner there from a guy like Willian. But Liverpool at Anfield, completely different animal. And 4-1, James, you've got the same margin. I've just got Fulham snagging a goal.
Liverpool just going to feast. That's all I'm going to say. They're going to feast. You know what? It's hard to bet against Liverpool when they are at home, especially against a team like Fulham. Fulham were able to get a win during the COVID season, but everybody got a win during the COVID season. This is Liverpool that we're talking about at Anfield at their best with the crowd. Difficult.
It's very difficult. James, a team had to lose to Luton and it ended up being Crystal Palace. How do you have them bouncing back against West Ham? You don't have them bouncing back. We've both gone for 2-1. Again, West Ham are an interesting team. I feel like there's a sense of belief, there's kind of a rhythm of play and a real, again, like I said, teamsmanship here. So I think that maybe this will be 1-1 for a long time, but I do believe that they'll be capable of getting that final goal. And James, the biggest thing for West Ham, Kudus is warming up. He looks very, very lively, and if he can start hitting, it's going to be kind of different here. So again, do you kind of echo my thoughts there, or anything else you want?
Jack, the exact same thing there. I think just with Crystal Palace, it's just a thing where, like, to be fair, Michael Olise came back and he looked terrific there. Yeah. But they don't really fill me up with so much confidence there. Jack, they're going to do enough to stay up, but is that all they want to do at this point? I just see West Ham manager, going in there and just having a bit too much there. Jack, I just think the quality going forward is a bit too much there. Paqueta, Bowen, Kudus, as Jack mentioned, just too much there going forward.
Guys, Palace need a new manager, you guys. Again, it's very steady Eddie with Roy Hodgson, but it's not going to hit the same unless you get somebody new in there. Arguably game of the week, probably up there with Newcastle United, Man United, Man City versus Tottenham. 3-1 for me, 3-0 for you, James. So not even a goal threat from Spurs. You think this will be super convincing from Man City?
Maybe, Jack. Maybe they can snag a goal, to be fair, because they have been scoring goals against every other team. This is a fixture that Man City, over the years, this is a bogey fixture for them. They hate playing against Tottenham, but these injuries have killed Tottenham, man. Jack, 3 defeats in a row, and I think it's going to be 4. Let the bodies hit the floor, because if they show up the way that they've showed up against other teams and play with the certain players that like they do play with, it could be a thing of let the bodies hit the floor, because players like Erling Haaland will feast over things like that. So I just see just City at home being too much for them overall.
Yeah, look, I totally hear you. I can just see maybe Spurs trying to rise to the occasion a little bit. We are a week removed from this mad injury crisis, so our players slowly getting back into fitness. Will 1 or 2 guys be more available either from the bench or in starting position? So I do just have them getting 1. But James, you talked about it. City are going to destroy this at home. They're going to easily get 3.
I'm going to change it. I'm going to go 4-1. Let's go 4-1, man.
4-1 on Spurs, Man City.
Yeah.
Guys at home, as per usual, let us know what you think. Drop a like on the video if you like what you've seen. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be part of our first 1,000 subscribers. We would really, really appreciate it. And until next time, me and James, we'll see you.